The sky was calm, the city was alive, and in just moments, everything would change forever. Two towers reached for the clouds, symbols of power, progress, and dreams. But on that September morning, the sky itself became a battlefield, and the world would never be the same. The morning of light. The year was 2001. New York City, glowing, restless, full of dreams. From Wall Street to Central Park, the rhythm never stopped. Above it all, two towers touched the clouds, symbols of progress, confidence, and everything America stood for. Inside those towers, life was ordinary. Laughter in elevators, coffee cups, morning meetings, and the quiet hum of ambition. The world below had no idea that this ordinary morning would become a chapter written in fire. The first impact, 8:46 a.m. A roar, unlike anything the city had ever heard, broke the calm. A plane, out of nowhere, tore through the North Tower. For a second, no one moved. Then, smoke, flames, confusion. People looked up, pointing, screaming, calling home. Was it an accident? A tragedy? Or something more? The sky answered, with silence thick enough to shake the world. The second strike, 9:03 a.m. Another roar, deeper, darker, final. A second plane hit the South Tower. The explosion painted the blue sky black. Papers rained from the heavens like falling memories. Now everyone knew. This was war. Sirens echoed across Manhattan. Firefighters ran into the chaos while others ran away. Courage burned brighter than fear that morning. People held hands with strangers, tears mixed with dust. 9:59 a.m., the South Tower fell. The earth trembled, the air turned gray, and in that roar of falling steel, time itself seemed to stop. People screamed, prayed, ran, but the city stood frozen. Moments later, the North Tower followed. Two monuments of strength, gone in seconds. New York disappeared beneath a storm of its own making, a blizzard of ash, paper, and sorrow. The skyline that once defined power now stood empty, silent. The hours after dusk covered everything. The streets were ghostly, sirens fading, people wandering like shadows. Phones didn't stop ringing. Names were whispered, cried, shouted into the wind. But among the horror, something quietly remarkable was happening. People helping, hugging, saving, holding on. Amid the rubble, humanity refused to die. From ashes, a city reborn. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months. The smell of smoke lingered, but so did faith. Volunteers came from every corner of the world. Flags rose from ruins. Photographs lined the fences, faces, names, memories. And then, slowly, the rebuilding began. Steel met sky again. But this time, it wasn't just architecture, it was remembrance. Years later, when night falls over Manhattan, the city stands still for a moment, as if holding its breath. And from the very ground where sorrow once ruled, two beams of light rise into the heavens. They pierce the darkness, cutting through the clouds, reaching for the stars, a reminder to the world that even the deepest wounds can glow with meaning. Those lights are not monuments of loss. They are the heartbeat of a city that refused to die. Each beam represents not only the towers that once stood, but the millions of souls who stood together after they fell. Down below, life moves on. Children laugh, taxis rush, the skyline rebuilt in steel and memory. Yet every September night, the air grows still again, and those two pillars of light return, silent, powerful, eternal. Because even when towers fall, hope stands tall. The city changed, the world changed, but the spirit of New York, unbreakable, defiant, eternal, still burns within every window that glows after dark. And as the beams fade into the dawn, they whisper one final truth, that even from ashes, light will always rise again.